Namaste, Prakash here. We are moving into the next episode of Dharma Tales. Let's debate. As has now become the practice, I am going to share one more very interesting story from Mahabharata. Something which happened in the beginning of the story and which has a huge impact towards the end, which even to a great extent even changed the course of the war, you might say. You might have heard a portion of this story in a different way, but I'm going to share a completely a different twist to the tale. Let's look at the life of one of the best archers Mahabharata has known. I am not speaking about Arjun. I am referring to Ekalavya. How many of you are aware that the story goes back to the times of Krishna's birth? It is said that Eklavya was actually born to Krishna's father's brother, Vasudeva. He had a brother called Devashrava. Eklavya was actually born to him, which is a very less known fact of Mahabharata. And then one portion of it we all know. He takes Dronacharya as his guru, as a Manasika guru, as you would say. And then he learns archery on his own. And when he actually comes to meet Dronacharya, Dronacharya sees him as a major threat to Arjun, not really knowing what impact he might have had. And then, in turn, for what Eklavya learned by just keeping a statue of Dronacharya, he asked for his thumb, which literally means he no more can be an archer. Having now given a commitment of Guru Dakshina that he would offer, Ekalavya does it and then walks into the forest. That is the portion we all know. Then it goes on like this. He becomes an orphan and then he gets picked up by a king called Hiranyadanu of Nishada kingdom. He spots Ekalavya and then brings him up. And it so happens that Hiranyadanu actually fights with Lord Krishna when Lord Krishna abducts Rukmini. And in this battle, Eklavya takes the side of the king, Hiranyadanu, and he actually gets killed by Lord Krishna in the war, which is a less known fact. And when he is dying, Krishna recognizes who he is. And then he gives him a boon as he is dying, that he would take birth again, because Ekalavya had a grudge against Dronacharya for what he did. And he felt bad that he had been in some way cheated by his own guru by getting his thumb cut off. So he had a grudge. And that's where maybe the master plan of Lord Krishna comes in. He blesses him a rebirth. And many of you might be knowing that the person who was the twin brother of Draupadi, called Drishtadyumna, was actually, both of them were born in a yagna conducted by their father Drupad. And Drishtadyumna is actually born. And this is the person who finally lands up on the 13th or 14th day of the war, lands up actually being the reason for killing Dronacharya. When actually Yudhishthira is made to tell that white lie of an elephant being killed with the name of Ashwatthama, which makes Dronacharya to drop all the weapons, and then he sits in meditation in his chariot. And Drishtadyumna, against all the principles of the war, jumps into the chariot and chops the head of Dronacharya, in some way avenging what mistake or in some way, wrong deed done by Dronacharya in his previous life, where he was Ekalavya. And it is apparently this for which Lord Krishna had actually planned the re-entry of Ekalavya in Mahabharata through the birth of Drishtadyumna. The key question to all of us in this story, a story which is shared as portion of the unknown stories which Mahabharata has, which has hundreds and hundreds of them. The dharmic question that comes up is, how did Dronacharya do what he did to Ekalavya? Just because he was better than his disciple, would that give a person of the caliber of Dronacharya to ask in return just because a person was ready to give Guru Dakshina? Was he right in the first place in asking for the anguli or the finger or the thumb of Ekalavya? Why did Lord Krishna then choose to actually not point out to Dronacharya that this person, had he been let loose, might actually cause the downfall in his next life? Obviously, Lord Krishna can see at least several lives ahead, being God that he is. Also, when it comes to Drishtatyumna, how did he then wage a war? Though he personally might not have known that he is the rebirth of Ekalavya, which was only known to Lord Krishna, that he could get into a chariot and then cut off the head of a person, because according to the ethics of the war, a person who is disarmed should not be hurt, should not be brought into war or killed. He goes against all ethics to do it. If you really look at it, there are multiple dharmic questions, which also we also find it in our own life, in our day-to-day life. People who are really good and capable, they are being asked to sacrifice something because they come in competition with somebody else who is very close to us. Should not merit be the only guiding factor? Even in those days, did you have those kind of reservations, if not based on caste? It was based on sheer protection that Dronacharya wanted to offer to Arjun. There are several questions which come up. This question actually gives us an option of diving deep into various facets of what Dharma is, and then discuss elaborately what are the various implications, how Dharma really tracks us down from one birth to another, how even one simple wrongdoing can actually accumulate and even change the complete fate of something to happen in the future. Here it was Lord Krishna who was doing all that. But in real life, are we even aware what's happening around us? Do we even know that many times we are actually stopping someone from expressing themselves, denying them a chance based on some factor which is not a straightforward one? Let's discuss all these questions. Take it to the comments column below this video. Discuss all your views on this story. Dharma Tales, let's debate. Till we meet again, this is Prakash. Thank you.